It's now recording now.
Oh, it is recording, so these are going to be fun behind the scenes.
This is now recording. Hello, welcome to In Defense of Traditional Martial Arts. I'm here with Tommo from the Martial Geeks channel.
Opa! Aí ele controla o partido. Desta Tommo. Bravo!
Who's on the ascent at the moment, bastard. And, we've met here at Greenwich. So all the way over from
Croatia, from Dubrovnik, and then, what was it? We arrived to Brighton, stayed a bit in Brighton, then a bit of Oxford, outskirts, and then we met up here in Greenwich, London.
Yeah, so you had the great idea of doing a follow-up from the quite bizarre interaction I had with a Wing Chun guy.
What I would say is that given the weight difference between us and the size difference, if you decided to come at me, now I've touched hands with you, I'm not particularly scared.
Yeah.
I think that I could get away.
So,
totally gonna be
what
wrong.
were your views on that video?
It was hilarious, to be honest, and just bizarre. Just watching it was bizarre. I can't imagine what it felt like just being there.
It was a mad.
But also,
experience.
right, I can imagine. But also, a lot of the talking points seem very simple to demonstrate and show. Everything was he argued for so many things that can be just proven or disproven, like this.
Yeah.
So it's let's just talk about the probably the main point of contention with regards to the trappy stuff.
Yeah.
The whole gloveless thing is obviously just wrong, but we can tackle that in a different video on a different day or whatever. But I would like to talk about the range, because I do love I love myself a bit of Wing Chun and all that stuff. But again, none of the trappy happy things is gonna happen here. And what I found, we talked about this, we both essentially believe that it's more of a pressure system, that it's all about keeping the momentum going and this and that. And then all the trapping forms, for me personally, again, and I'm no Wing Chun expert or a master or anything, but I'm just an enthusiast, I guess, and all that stuff. So what I found is that the whole footwork, jamming motion, all that stuff from the forms, the unmoving elbow, sort of that grappling type of stuff, really comes into play once you're doing cage side grappling and cage side striking.
Right.
And that's where I feel a lot more of this sensitivity stuff happens, because of course if we maybe stay like this, if we're here, as you said in that video, it's going to be maybe like this, and it's going to end. Or it's going to be boom, boom, you give me one, boom, and then we grapple, right? It's never going to stay in all this. It's never going to be that. But you absolutely can use some motions getting this and stuff like that. But that's not what they mean. They really like the sequential stuff.
Yeah, and it's something that I never get how much time they spend.
Oh yeah.
At this, I can get spending a lot of time where you work from this range.
Yeah.
But I don't get it's the amount of time they spend doing this kind of. And then you'll block that.
Yeah, and then
block that. That's the bit I don't understand about it, is because you're never going to get more than 2 movements, 3 at absolute most. And I think it was on Jerry's channel, so I spoke about how one of Bruce Lee's students that I got to train with, amazing as that, back in the 90s, said he hated teaching Bruce Lee's trapping system. But he felt like he had to, because it's what people were paying money to learn what Bruce Lee taught. But he said, look, there's just no way. And this guy, Larry Hartzell, said he went out sparring, fighting like competing, and he was never in any of that time got into a position where he was able to use the trapping system the way that Bruce Lee showed it.
No, never. And so, of course, even like JKD stuff has its own flashy, trappy stuff, and Wing Chun seems to be like completely focused on that. And I think like doing Chi Sao, but being aware that it's not sparring, that it's not direct application of fighting, can really be good for sensitivity for grappling. Like a lot of times when we do like no-gi grappling and decide to do it standing up, there's a lot of things that are just like clearly, obviously from Chi Sao. But in this video, what I'm thinking of, not talking about like that, all that stuff, like where Wing Chun comes into grappling, because that's a whole different thing. I'm thinking of the only place where you could maybe chain a bit more things that are like visible, quote unquote, visible Wing Chun, and it's still not going to be Chi Sao stuff. But for me, the sort of like where moments where somebody who knows what Wing Chun is and sees my sparring can go like, oh, was that like a bit of Wing Chun? Is usually never here. Like here it's always just like distance stuff, you know, kicking, whatever, or like moving. But where like you can get some sort of like visual stuff is like against an obstruction. So for instance, and it's again another myth is to get him to like back up, it's not gonna be this. You're just gonna go. That's it. So it's gonna be normal fighting and maybe a game of inches, you know, maybe like inside leg kick or something. And I got in like here. So here is where I think a bit more of Wing Chun stuff can happen. For instance, like let's say you grab like my neck like for a collar tie or some shit. Like I do have this hand here. Maybe I sink a bit low. I control this here. Maybe I go here. Maybe I come up and continue. But here is where like this, you'll see this often, because if I'm up close, I do want to sort of like, you know, poke. I do want to control. I do want to be here. I do want to like shift. And like all that stuff. Again, this is not going to last. Like you're going to do something. We're going to clinch up, like grab or whatever, and stuff like that. But that's really where like all this stuff you see is where I find it.
Yeah, and it's what we've talked about again. We've talked about endlessly, like, you know, Nick Diaz when he was at his absolute peak, he was a master of this, you know, coming off, getting someone up against the cage. Like when he finished Frank Shamrock.
Amazing
just
stuff.
like pure, like, you know, that's what Wing Chun people should aspire
Exactly
to be like, you know.
And it's like, it's not like, oh, I'm here and then I'm gonna, you know, like, no, I'm gonna do a normal jab. But maybe like if I'm here, maybe I go with like an uppercut like this, maybe like an elbow, and maybe like if you go here, maybe I drop, maybe I guide it a bit, go here, go up there. Maybe if you're turning around, like, and like on the opposite side, like we're beginning, then maybe like we engage or get inside, maybe I'm poking here or whatever, and then getting, for instance, like here's a great example, like I've gotten in this position a lot, like a wizard, I like grabbing here, and like from here we'd like fight or whatever, have control, like stuff like that, so we'd have to stay a bit close and aware, like if we let go, we're gonna be punching each other, right? And from here, I don't want to like wind. Like, why would I go here? Yeah, exactly. From here, let's say you control my hand. Maybe I go like this, boom, and maybe I keep moving. And this really looks like, you know, the typical, you know, like this when they always show like, and it's always like that punch that doesn't look realistic. Because I'm not gonna do it from here, right? Like if we're fighting, why would I do this? Like dropping my, like, doesn't work. It's gonna be this. Or
so this is conceptual.
This is absolutely conceptual and very nuanced. So it's like here, I don't want to go like, you know, bam, bam. Maybe you grab again, doing something. Maybe I go with the knee, bam, bam. maybe here, boom, like all this stuff. Like this to me, like if I just pause and stop, this is what feels like that all that sensitivity stuff is for. And again, that's not gonna last as long as, but it's gonna last and be more visually Wing Chun than like here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like this doesn't have a place.
Again, Back Mei Kung Fu is
Pak Mei isn't for fighting.
often compared to Wing Chun, and one of the things I had, so if we do this like kind of both stance, one of the things I had was like, if I'm stood like this, you can't hit me in the nuts. Like,
Right.
and it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like a lot of, unless you explore these things, and this is the thing, you've said like conceptual. Like, a lot of the problem with Chinese martial arts as a whole is they have remained conceptual for way too long. And we have all these avenues that we can test this stuff out now, and it becomes alive, like you just showed.
Yeah.
And concepts of like, oh, I've got my nuts protected here, is like, goes out of the window as soon as you go, but people move.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's like even like boxing or mix or any combat sport. You can go like, you cover your shoulder, so that you got cover here, you got cover here, but that's also finite. That like changes. Okay, but then from here I got a slip. Maybe I'm open now. So it's like you can forever go, but I would do this, I would do that, and you would do this.
The difference is if say I manage to flank you and I get to here, I can punch you from here.
okay, yeah. I mean, so again, but this is.
So I can hit you here, and I can hit you here, and that took your feet, and then I'm off around the side, and then bang, I've got you. So the punches are to get responses, basically.
If we get into this interaction, right? So I can hit you here.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we do this, we're going to have to spar. If
Yeah.
we start.
I know.
Because I could put my hands in the way of you.
Yeah.
And then we're sparring. So if you leave your hands, so I can do this, and this sets up this.
Nothing like okay, cover up high. This is really good. You know, like self-defense videos. You got like all these like cool guys, and they are, to be fair, cool. Like the Rhino, the Elon, all that. It's cool, and it is an option. But then I'm leaving myself open here. But then if I cover up here, maybe I'm open. You're always open to something.
You've got to, and that, again, that was my
And that's
main
not a
criticism.
problem. It's not. It's normal. That's how fighting works.
In that last video, we really got into it. This guy who was going, yeah, but then I do this. You know, yeah, but then I did it, and it's like, but the only way to solve that is to spar. Like, we could stand here all night going, but then I do it, and that is what leads to things like with because then it's, well, then I do this, and then someone goes, yeah, but then I'd pack some. Yeah, but then I'd bong some.
Yeah, we could do that forever.
And you can do that forever, but it's only when you actually do it.
But you know what's
live.
Exactly, and you know what's funny? It doesn't have to be like I do this in Wing Chun. We could pretend, make believe with boxing. I do a jab, but I like cover up, and it can be just typical combat sports stuff. But then I do a low kick. But no, then I check it. Then I hit your other leg, and it's like nobody does that.
Yeah, and we do get to find that out when we spar.
Yeah, and it's so simple.
With Wing Chun people, Tai Chi people, it's push hands.
Yeah,
everything is push hands, and it's like, I'll push you, I'll do this.
Yeah,
and,
just feel your.
And Wing Chun, it's I'll do it, and it just seems like there's so much effort placed into these training like distances that just don't exist for that long. You know, pushing hands range isn't very long before someone steps in or someone comes out.
Yeah.
Like this.
Same with Wing Chun.
Same with Wing
like
Chun.
usually Chi Sao just like starts here, and then you have to like keep it going.
Yeah.
Like this stuff. But like that's not how you would punch. That's not how
no one's going to stand still. Like if he's going to punch me, I'm going to step back.
Yeah.
And this kind of, well, I'll step.
Yeah.
That's not
and
going to work because
like the chasing thing.
Yeah, but it's no one steps like this. It's dynamic.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like Chi Sao is okay for what it is, but it sucks for what it isn't.
Yeah.
Which is sparring or techniques that are supposed to be exactly translated to fighting. Because like this, when they do this in Wing Chun, that can be this, can be like this, I don't know, like it can be a color thing. Like it all translates to that. Like, you know, like basic stuff like this. I never ever in a single sparring session did I ever go like never. Like I've done variants, like you know what I have done? Like sometimes from like a collar tie, I would like drop and get like the chop thing, boom, boom. And that's like really cool, you know, like or typical Wing Chun stuff.
Yeah.
But again, it's not even like a straight punch or anything like, like Wing Chun is all this stuff.
Again, it's the fall of the Chinese martial arts is that people don't like getting punched in the face. Like people who do enjoy that sort of thing go towards combat sports. What you're left with in Chinese martial arts is people that don't want to do that anymore. So they then replace it with exercises that should exist, but shouldn't be the emphasis.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's what I feel has happened with Wing Chun. It's definitely what's happened with Tai Chi. There wasn't as much emphasis on pushing hands training back in the 90s as there seems to be when I look online now.
Right. You know what? I think we mentioned this a bit probably in one of our live streams, but I think it does play a factor in where a lot of times when you sort of start that rabbit hole of traditional martial arts, be it in China, Japan, you will, or wherever actually, you will soon find out that it's all really the same stuff. Like the actual applications are still going to be a punch, a kick, and then you soon sort of like lose that like label thing where, oh, this is karate, but karate used to be like bare knuckle without a gi and just like a more like MMA.
And I think when you look at it, and this is probably a good place to end it, is, Jesse Enkamp has done a lot to dispel a lot of this stuff. Like when he's worked with Wing Chun people, when he's worked with karate people, when he's worked with white crane people, it is essentially all the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And anyone that tries to say it's not, has never had a fight in their lives, basically. So, thanks, Tommo. That's been awesome. Been great meeting you here. And catch you all soon.
There's going to be more.
Subscribe to the Martial Weeks.
Epic.
Hang on, let me just 2 seconds see. I just wanted to make sure that the microphone wasn't in the shot, which has happened before now. Because Tommo is also a fan of the Wing Chun.
Yeah.
Dropping his phone. Shall we edit that out? No, he's an idiot.
Yeah, leave that in for sure. Now that idiot's going to pretend to be smart about Wing Chun.